I say, you know that kind of creepy thing that happens when you look at a pair of shoes on Amazon and then you're on a completely different website, and that same pair of shoes, that's us. We're those creepy people that are retargeting, but that's the way you build an audience, right? I mean, on Facebook, I think we've got a recurring audience of probably 50,000 people.
Wow.
And I mean, which is huge. I think that's a lot of people and that's an audience that continually engages with us. So they are constantly being hit and over and over and over again, maybe to some of their, maybe some of them wish they weren't being so much, but I think it helps for our sellers to be able to reach that same audience over and over again.
All right, welcome to another episode of Real Estate vs. Tech. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. And we have two fellows from the Silicon Valley. Their names, Brian and Dan. Brian and Dan Real Estate. We're super excited to have them on the show. Gentlemen, welcome to Real Estate vs. Tech.
Hello, Real Estate vs. Tech. Thank you for having us.
Of course. So the show is all about you and both of y'all business. So we'd love to understand about how you got in the business, how long you've been in the business, what made you get in the business, and technology that you're using. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it right now. And as far as who wants to answer the questions, you can go back and forth or whatever suits you both, or at the same time. I love it. So I guess let's start off with, you together as a team. When did you guys start your team? How long you've been in the real estate business, and what areas do you serve?
Go ahead, Brian.
Dan and I, truth be told, we've both been in real estate, him maybe 25 years, me a little over 20 years. And we used to work at a firm together many years ago called Alam Pennell Realtors, who just recently went out of business.
Yep.
Dan and I worked at Alam Pennell together for 7 years. And then I broke off, went to another brokerage, a smaller brokerage, and then wound up here at Sereno. And as Dan and I had been going along and getting in the business, we both realized that we'd probably be better at our job if we had a partnership. You can roundtable ideas, you can disagree, you can collaborate on coming up with collective decisions, and you can take vacation, and you can take a weekend, and you can go away, and you can rely on the other person 100%. To take over everything while you're away, which is great, and then come back refreshed and ready to hit it again. So we started doing this together about 5 years ago.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome. I was actually, before we were airing, I was watching your latest YouTube video about changing your filters in your house. And so the viewers and listeners out there, change your filters. I had no idea after 90 days you have to change them. So I actually just changed mine 2 weeks ago. Very relevant to what just happened with me personally. So I love the content that you guys are putting out there on the YouTube, and you have on your website and the Instagram. So great job, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to interject. I bought filters on Amazon last night just by coincidence. So
Not because you saw our video?
Didn't see your video at all.
There must be some kind of vibration in the universe telling people to change their filters emanating from our YouTube channel.
It must be. And I'm sure you're going to get a viewer after our episode too. Maybe more viewers, and for all the viewers and listeners out there listening. So awesome. Yeah. So basically, Silicon Valley, more specifically, what areas do you serve past 12 months? What does that transaction volume look like for you guys?
We serve everywhere from Los Gatos, up in the Los Gatos Mountains. We actually go all the way over to the coast. We do transactions in Santa Cruz, Capitola, Aptos,
Campbell, San Jose, Santa Clara, up to Palo Alto, go down into Morgan Hill.
Sunnyvale, Cupertino, Saratoga. This would include Willow Glen, Almaden Valley, all of downtown San Jose. We're down in Evergreen and Blossom Valley and Cambrian Park. So,
wow.
But Dan and I have been based here in Los Gatos, and we both grew up here in Los Gatos. And in our transaction volume has been pretty high recently. I'd say. This year we're probably closing in on about 30 million for the year so far, year to date.
Congratulations.
Nice.
So we usually do a fair amount of business. We've got a great referral network and a lot of past clients. And like you said, we've got our YouTube channel and we're constantly putting marketing out and reaching out to new audiences.
I love that. I love that. And we're going to get into later in the show specifically techniques that you're using so our listeners and viewers that are inspiring to get to that level of success can be able to take maybe some practical tools or some techniques that you're using. So that's going to be really exciting here very soon. So do you guys focus on specifically buyers, sellers, a little bit of both? What makes up your business?
I'd say it's pretty much both. It's probably about 50-50.
No.
I mean, you don't think so?
No, when you break it out, it's like 65-35.
Which one?
65 sellers.
Okay.
We wind up working with more sellers.
I love it. I love it.
This is what makes a partnership great. The part where you get to disagree.
I was just about to say that.
With our clients too. But yeah, when you break it out, it's about 65% sellers.
I love that.
Which is great because we'd rather work with sellers anyway, quite honestly. I mean, not that we don't love working with buyers, but around here and especially now, buyers can be really tough. I mean, we love it. It's really rewarding to bring people into their new homes and get over that hurdle of buying them, especially their first house, or maybe when they get to upsize and buy something bigger and better when their families are growing up. I mean, it's great to work with those people. But it's just a really tough competitive market. We always seem to have a shortage of inventory and no shortage of qualified buyers around here.
I can imagine. I can imagine too, also working with the seller side, a bit more control. I'm hearing what's going on in the Bay Area, up to 100,000 over asking, multiple offers. So I mean,
Yeah, no, and like you said, a little bit more control, a little bit more predictability. We've got we've just got a great schedule that we run with our sellers. We also reach out to people who are maybe thinking about downsizing or moving out of the area, and especially people who need help prepping houses. That's one of the things we do really well. So we've worked with a lot of people who are out of state. Maybe somebody in the family is deceased. They've got a house here, but they're living in Georgia, and the house is full of the relatives' stuff. And we're very good at being able to resource the needed services to help them get things cleaned up, painted, maintained, landscaped, and so forth. We do that really, really well.
And one of our strengths with that is the fact that we have a really strict timeline and schedule that through our assistant, we let them manage us to coordinate so that if one of us can always be there or taking care of something, and we know who's handling what, as well as then our clients are always aware of it too. So if you're in Georgia or somewhere else or just next door, you at least realize that, hey, okay, here's the next step on the list. I mean, they can see the whole process. And we found that communication is really, really helpful.
People love to know what's going to be happening next. The most nervous people get to be is when they don't know what's happening, they don't know what's been done, they don't know what's yet to be done. So we're super tight with our timelines and make sure that everybody knows exactly what the chronological order of events are and what all of the to-do list looks like. So we get a lot of referrals because of that. We just run a very kind of tight ship.
I love that. Great for our viewers and listeners. So tight ship, have a standard operating procedure, let the client know exactly what's going on. I love that. And I also am hearing a lot about the two type of clients, like, relocation, which my wife did out of the Bay Area. And I'm also hearing a lot of downsizing because of the inventory situation. So maybe some great target demographics for the viewers and listeners out there. And I have two more questions before we get to the mix-up round. So what would separate, I mean, I can already see it, but what separates Brian and Dan from any other real estate professional out there?
You gonna let me go with that? No.
I have an answer, but I want to let you start.
Really? Ours that we like to argue.
Not argue. We like to disagree.
Yeah, exactly.
We like to offer two perspectives.
Yeah, I think again, I think you're going to go with, again, combined with our history in the area and our just pure focus and intent to really want to work for our clients is one of the things that I find is just puts us above the rest, because combine the knowledge and just the commitment. It's great.
Yeah. One of the things that we offer our sellers, I mean, and this, I don't want to go on and on about it, but we are very tech savvy. We do use a lot of technology. I know a lot of people do, but we go way beyond just using the DocuSign and the search engines and the online stuff. I mean, we've gone completely paperless. We're very deep into the Google sphere, so we've got everything on Google on a Google platform, so people can view stuff online. But beyond that, for our sellers, what we really offer, in my opinion, that's completely different than anybody else is, yeah, we make these videos, people see them on YouTube and Facebook, but what they don't see is the advertising engine that we're taking advantage of on YouTube and Facebook. So we actually put dollars and shoe leather into marketing people's properties, which in our market, with the way that it's been for the last 20 years, I think it's easy to get a little bit complacent as a real estate agent, like, oh, well, it's going to sell, it's on the MLS. We invest money and time and resources. We have a full-time assistant who is a really talented videographer and video editor. We've got a full-time marketing assistant, and when somebody hires us, they're not only going to just have it be put on the MLS, we're not just going to put a sign out the front, but we are going to invest dollars and time and resources into advertising your property and getting the word out. And this makes a difference because we cast a wider net. We bring people down from the East Bay or from the North Bay. We have people walk into our open houses when we had open houses and I say, well, how'd you hear about the house? Because you're from Danville. And they say, oh, I saw it on YouTube or I saw it on Facebook. I wouldn't have thought to come down here and look at a house in Los Gatos or Campbell, but we're thinking about relocating our jobs, and it just got us thinking. And so we have this way of shotgunning out information that I really don't find anybody else is doing like that.
And we were doing this long before COVID came along. Oh, I think that's the part. So when COVID came along and people started having to go more virtual, we were already there, and it made a huge difference. So our marketing didn't really change. We just saw a lot of people trying to do what we do, but very poorly. And
we do these full walkthroughs. We do 3D virtual tours for every house. We do full personal walkthroughs as though we're guiding each individual through the house and pointing things out and making sure that before they decide to get off their couch, they've had a full run through the house, so that, especially now during COVID, they don't have to, they've seen it by the time they get there, the way that we present it.
And I want to digress for a second and give the agents out there the number one tip about our partnership. That was what I was looking for.
Oh, wow. I'm excited to hear this.
When I decided I needed a partner, and Brian separately, one of the things I knew is I identified my weaknesses. And one of my weaknesses was tech. And I was saying, I need to make sure I either find a younger person or somebody, because he's not that much younger than me, somebody who's savvy in tech, who wants to really bring our forces together, open up and let them take control of my database, let them take control of my information here to use it to really maximize what's going on there. Because then I knew that between the two of us getting together and taking that weakness of mine, but I had a 25 years worth of clients and experience to go ahead and use that. And then I also have to understand that I hate being in front of camera. And I'm lucky I have somebody who loves to be in front of a camera, but he also teaches me to act a little bit, and I have to be out there some of the time. So even like tonight, I would much rather prefer letting him talk most of the time, but I know I have to do my share. So that's part of it.
Isn't he great when he does talk?
Oh, stop.
He is.
He is. I know. Oh, Dan.
Anyways, but what I'm saying is that people really should identify their weakness when they're looking for a partner and really try and find somebody who's going to complement what you have.
Yeah.
Because if we have two of the same people doing yes men, then it just doesn't work. And there you go.
Yeah, and somebody who has the experience and strength actually, and this whole thing about disagreeing, I mean, we can treat it as a joke, but I actually do think of it as a benefit to the client, because when we're sitting around trying to solve a problem or come up with the best solution, you don't want two people with the same opinion. You actually want two people who have different opinions, or who are looking at it at a slightly different angle, or who have different backgrounds and experience to help the client come up with the best solution for them.
I love that. I love that. You have that yin yang going on there, which is awesome, and kind of the extrovert introvert type thing. And that's great for our viewers and listeners, because we got a Dan here too. So Dan and Norm, like we got the yin yang thing on too. So he's about to take it away. I had the last question. So since you've been in business, you talked a little bit about tech, you talked about like getting away from paper. What's the one thing, like you could say, after COVID or before COVID, that you've adapted to technology wise that's really like helped your business? Is it video? Is it social? Is it Instagram? Like, what was that thing that you're like, man, thank God we adapted to that, because now we've seen this success from it?
I think that the most important thing that we've learned how to do, I mean, it's two things. One, we really invested in being able to make videos. Like, I can see you're sitting in a studio, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You've got the right audio equipment, you've got the right video equipment, you've got the studio set up, you've got the lights. We did the same. We invested in the equipment that we needed. We invested in the help that we needed. Like I said, we brought on a full-time person who's really, really talented at shooting and editing video, and he's on full-time. He's on staff.
Wow.
And so in addition to doing that, we also then got a really deep and very powerful understanding of how the advertising engines on Facebook and YouTube and Google Ads work. And that's not only for advertising our business, but it's, like I said, also for advertising the properties that we sell on behalf of the client. So it's kind of a twofer on that one. We get to advertise ourselves because we need to constantly kind of be gathering new business, but we also get to use that same knowledge to share with our clients who get the benefit of having their properties advertised like nobody else is doing in the business.
Wow, that's awesome. And you're setting yourselves apart also, I can imagine, from your colleagues. So you're doing something completely different than your colleagues outside of what maybe just a broker offers, because you've actually built this engine that's really, driving to success there. So that's awesome. Well,
yeah,
viewers and listeners definitely can take a lot of this information and apply it to their own business. We're going to get into the mix-up round, getting more into the specific technologies that you're using. So Dan Gandy, go ahead and take it away.
Okay.
Awesome, guys.
Dan.
This is more of a quick round, and to back up, I can relate with you. I run a real estate team, and I have a business partner named Ed, and we are complete opposite. So it is a lot of what you said resonated with me. But
do you get to argue with Ed in front of clients too?
Yes. They always say a good cop, bad cop. Like, I'm the one that negotiates, and he's the one that like massages everything out after that.
Oh yeah, Dan gives a good massage too.
That's awesome.
I love it.
So this round, really quick, is just to kind of see what's on your tool belt. I know you've talked about some of it, but we'll just kind of quickly run through what everybody you can share that could be of value to any other real estate agent listening in. So,
okay, shoot.
Number one lead source.
Referrals.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, past clients, friends and family. We have we're constantly speaking to our network, our sphere of influence. We're just constantly talking to them all the time. And I don't mean calling them necessarily, although we do that also, but constantly talking to them on Facebook, YouTube, through electronic newsletters, Instagram. I mean, we're just constantly addressing the people that refer business to us.
Nice. Does that include like retargeting to that list? And
we use retargeting, yeah, I mean, for sure. And when I explain this to people, I say, that kind of creepy thing that happens when you look at a pair of shoes on Amazon and then you're on a completely different website, and that same pair of shoes, that's us. We're those creepy people that are retargeting, but that's the way you build an audience, right? I mean, on Facebook, I think we've got a recurring audience of probably 50,000 people.
Wow.
And I mean, which is huge. I think that's a lot of people and that's an audience that continually engages with us. So they are constantly being hit and over and over and over again, maybe to some of their, maybe some of them wish they weren't being so much, but I think it helps for our sellers to be able to reach that same audience over and over again. Okay, go ahead, Dan, what's next? Was that it on that one?
That was that. Cold call. Do you guys still cold call any prospects or do any of that?
Never been a cold caller. I don't think you've ever cold called, have you? I mean, I might have cold called back in the day, like when I first started a little bit, but I'm not good at it.
I used to door knock.
Oh yeah.
It was door knocking in such a year that we stopped doing that a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Direct mail?
We do some direct mail. Yeah, but we don't have a huge farm. We mostly focus on the people that we know. We mostly really try and take good care of the several hundred people that we know personally and that we have a relationship with. But so we're not farming, there's guys around here that farm, I don't know, they probably send out 40,000 pieces a month. That's not us.
Nice. And then outside of past clients and referrals, are you generating any leads online via Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, we've got a great, our Yelp page is pristine. It's like unbelievable, except that, of course, I hate Yelp because we've got like 60 reviews and they only show 25 of them or something, which I don't know how they're able to get away with that. So when you go to our Yelp page, audience, please scroll all the way down. You can see the ones that are not currently recommended by Yelp. So our Yelp page gets a lot of traffic. Our web page, you can see it in the back of Norman there. Our web page says a great deal about who we are. On there, we've got a blog that's always active. You're never going to look at our blog and see something from 6 months. I mean, everything is current. Everything is up to date. We do case studies on there. We do videos on there. So we get a ton of traffic on our website. But most of that traffic, again, is driven to our website through Facebook and YouTube and Google Ads using AdWords.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Let's just go tools real quick. CRM that you guys are currently using?
I am really embarrassed to say that we don't use a real CRM. We use Gmail and Google Contacts, and then we've got an assistant. And I'll be honest, if we took you over there, he has pieces of paper tacked on the wall for all of our current transactions. It's embarrassing. As technical as
one of our resolutions.
I don't even know if I care because what we do works.
If you ever want a referral to some, we've interviewed like all of the CRM companies and
Yeah.
Oh, really? And we'll ask you offline. But I'll tell you, in our contacts, we did a Brian Buffini thing where everybody's label is an A, B, or a C. So, your closest people, your outer sphere, and then the people that are kind of maybes or could be's one day. So everybody's labeled by that kind of categorization that Brian Buffini went into in depth over the years, and so we've just kind of created our own system within existing systems, but it's not a real CRM. Neither one of us has really found a need to break off from that and go on to something else.
Nice. Last question for me really is any new technology that you guys are trying out?
The newest things that are happening in the industry that I see are the platforms where you're able to solicit and or even mandate offers being uploaded online, like disclosures.io. We're seeing a lot more of that, where instead of and of course no one's bringing paper offers anymore, but instead of emailing your offer, they want them to go up through disclosures.io. We use a company instead of disclosures.io. We used to use disclosures.io, but if anyone's out there using disclosures.io, they might want to look into how that data is being used. I don't know, you guys don't have any affiliation with them. You can cut that out if they do, but
we don't.
Disclosures.io they may have an ulterior motive for having you on their platform. So we switched over to a company called Glide, and so I think it's the technology that's most interesting right now is just how data is being moved back and forth, right? Like we all went paperless, but now we're all moving from channels to platforms, right? Instead of email, we're using these other platforms where information can be moved back and forth really easily between the seller and the buyer and the would-be prospective buyers who are making offers and uploading them through these platforms instead of directly channeling them through email. And then we've tried a lot of other technology, but really a lot of it comes down to the phone. I find that more and more business is being done by a text message, which seems to be replacing email, but not really. And so nothing too spectacularly interesting, I don't think, but yeah.
No, the biggest question I always run into for technology, what I've seen for us is that we're trying to identify. We definitely know that our technology touches buyers more than it touches sellers, as far as in an area, because around here we see the sellers seem to be a little bit older, so not as many of them are as on the tech as the buyers are, and so we always are trying to looking at ways of what can we do to reach more sellers and see that they can get on or see what we're doing online, because sometimes we think we might be missing them with some of them.
I also think sometimes tech can be a little dangerous in our business, right? Like this Glide platform allows sellers to fill out disclosure electronically instead of doing it by paper. We used to sit down at the kitchen table with people and fill out disclosure with them. And now you can do it technologically. And I feel like for us as agents, because we have a fiduciary responsibility and a license, it's our responsibility to actually make sure, I mean, one of our biggest responsibilities in California is to make sure that the seller is disclosing everything that needs to be disclosed. And I feel like one of the dangers of technology is that the agent gets actually a little bit further removed from the technology. I mean, from the most important, vital function of what they're supposed to do. And in our state especially, disclosure is one of them. And if you're not actually paying attention to what the clients are writing down and what answers they're providing, there's a lot of liability in that. And so we really try and, even though we're using the technology, we're really trying to consciously stay aware of the fact that we need to stay connected to the human element of what's going on, that these are human beings who have to disclose in order to protect themselves from liability that exists for real if a buyer didn't get the right information. And some of those questions are confusing, and sometimes they need help. And so we're often following up with those things on the phone saying, hey, I noticed you wrote down this on your disclosure. Is that really what you meant? Or did we talk about that a little bit?
It's funny.
Really helping you.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. Like 30 minutes before this podcast, my attorney, best friend, called me and asked me a question about real estate disclosures because somebody didn't disclose something about the plumbing, and like the person moved in and like the whole house was filled with water. So
yeah, and sometimes it's coincidence, right? But sometimes, you know, that little thing that they thought wasn't important actually was important and needed to be disclosed. And I just don't recommend that we as real estate agents get too detached from the thing that's most important, or one of the things that's most important.
Yeah, we'll have to check out Glide. We had Mark Choey from High Note here, so that technology you've been talking about and how.
Oh yeah, it's pretty slick. I mean, it really is, and it lets you on the back end communicate with the client about, and they can flag questions, and you can offer answers. I mean, so you don't necessarily have to be on the phone. You can do it electronically, so it gives you that flexibility.
That's awesome. Well, Thank you guys for answering all these questions, and then Norm, I'll throw it over to you to kind of finish it out.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Dan. I appreciate it. And that was an awesome mix-up round. So hopefully our viewers and listeners can take some of that information.
Is there a lightning round?
Heck. So, I know, right? So the lightning round, we changed it to the mix-up round. So.
Oh, okay. I wanted to compete with Dan. I want like a buzzer where I can like buzz in and answer questions. Like
that's the next phase of the show that we're working on.
Can we invite it back to that one?
You have to do more teams and do that.
Yeah. We're going to have a team dedicated specifically lightning round. So you've seen the show. So that's awesome. Yeah. So we're now just about probably 2 or 3 episodes back now, getting into the mix-up rounds, kind of switching it up because some of the answers were longer and we're like, it's lightning, you know? So.
Oh, yeah, especially when I'm answering what he's saying. When I'm answering the answers are real. I always give my clients the option. Do you want the short answer or do you want the long answer? Not really what's best for them. They often choose the long answer and then realize, oh, that was a mistake.
Yeah. Talking about disclosures, right? You got to disclose. What do you want?
Yeah, true.
I love it. So I have 3 more questions, and then we are going to open the floor up to both of y'all about anything that you want to put out there for the viewers and listeners. So, as far as like you guys do serve multiple areas, do you have guests coming in?
I'm sorry, Norman, I interrupted you. David, come over here for one second. Hello. The guy I was talking about who does our video for us, who shoots and edits, this is David. How's it going?
Welcome to Real Estate First Technology. We're on the air.
Awesome. Nice to join you guys. I just got some lunch, so it's coming back in.
I just wanted to give him credit. He's so much of who we are right now, and so he's the magic behind behind all of the videos.
We're gonna
spend all the time training him.
We're gonna have to plug some links down below for you.
Yeah. The leather show we've done a lot more than just real estate too. We do a lot of stuff. So we definitely have a lot of content.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The tech behind the team.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, you guys.
Okay, Norm, go ahead.
No worries at all. So I know that you say you serve multiple areas. Do you consider yourself maybe an expert in any specific niche? Like, have you ever done anything with buyer farms, seller farms, and like kind of like did any type of video like content or anything specifically? I saw that you went to that local like Ace Hardware in your specific market, but do you do anything with that type of like technique or going in that direction?
You know, I mean, we're both from Los Gatos. We both grew up here. We both went to Los Gatos High School. We both lived here a long time. And so to say that we focus on Los Gatos would be easy to do, but it's a small market. And really, you're bordering up against San Jose and Campbell and Saratoga and Cupertino and you don't know that you're crossing from one to the other, right?
Yeah, but I think it also means almost like one of our niches, we have, again, we're multifaceted, but one of our niches is that we can do kind of, we kind of like that turnkey. Give us your key, especially for if somebody's lost somebody or whatever, and you just give us the key and we get it all done. We get all the contractors in, we get painting done, carpeting, hauling, everything away, so you don't have to deal with the thing. So we are really good at that.
And that comes along with understanding trusts and how trusts work and how families work. I used to work as a mediator for many, many years, and so often there's family dynamics that are happening, especially if you have some people that are out of town, and the communication that we offer for people who are grieving and trying to manage a ton of details and trying to understand how they're going to wrap their heads around all of this stuff to do and be working with their attorneys. We work directly with their attorneys. We understand how those processes and procedures work. And we are really, really good, especially if you're just feeling completely overwhelmed by the task in front of you. Like, I want to sell my house, but I don't know where to start. That is where we really shine. And that doesn't matter if it's here in Los Gatos or in Cupertino or in Palo Alto or in Mountain View. That is and we come with a deep Rolodex of resources. So from people who can help organize and clean to auction companies that auction belongings and things online, to people that just come in, and our team of people is unbelievable. I love these people. Everybody that we work with, I just want to give a shout out to all those people, our painters, our landscapers, our carpeting and flooring people, our estate organizers, our everybody. Mind-blowing how kind and professional and capable they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said. We're going to have to get you a copy of the show, man. You're going to have to put it on your own stuff now. Just for that shout out and plug for people that you work with. But for our viewers and listeners, that's a great point, right? If you're doing it with anyone that is downsizing or say probate type situation, to give them that confidence and just say, hey, we're turnkey. Here you go. Here's the list A through Z, super simple. Like that's awesome. I think that's very, very beneficial for.
We've literally said to people, just give us a key, go home wherever you go to, give us a key, we'll take care of everything. And we've literally had people do that. They're like, that sounds awesome. Hand us a key, and there's still furniture and stuff and dishes, and like we just walk into the house and like they did nothing, and we just take care of it, and they are overwhelmed, like in tears. They're so happy that they didn't have to deal with that stuff.
That's amazing. That's super powerful for sure. I love that. So we have one more question. We're going to open up the floor to y'all. Last one, secret weapon. If I was to hire you to sell my home, what would you say to me to make me feel confident? You pretty much already said it. Was there anything else you want to add to it?
Dan, anything else you want to add to that?
No,
I think it's Dan's sparkling personality.
Man, he is.
Funny part is, we talk about it, I'm the outgoing one off camera more than he is.
He is. I'm the straight man off camera. He's the funny one, and nobody ever gets to know that.
One of the things we'd really like to let people know is this is not a toupee.
Yeah.
It's real.
It's his natural color. He doesn't dye it. Wink, wink.
I know. Come on, man.
I love it. Full disclosure here on Real Estate vs. Tech.
The secret weapon for our sellers is honestly the amount of control. Not control. We're not control freaks, but the amount of predictability that we bring with us. You're going to know exactly what's going to be happening. You're going to be completely informed because we over communicate. We've got the staff to be able to help out and make the process and the transaction go very, very smoothly. There's never a moment where you're going to sit and think, I don't know what's happening. And so we're very good at putting that process together. And then as sellers, you got to know that when you hire us versus, I'm telling you, just about anybody else in the Bay Area, we are actually marketing properties the way that we used to in the old days, right? You don't do print advertising anymore. Everything is online. And I just don't see that agents are like that retargeting. When you go to agents' websites and you don't see a pixel on their site, you got to wonder what they're thinking. I mean, how could you be doing business in this world and not have a pixel on your site?
Amen.
And most people don't know what that means. And really, it comes down to, are you getting your house in front of as many eyeballs as possible? And if they're not doing the kind of advertising and marketing that we're doing, then you are not reaching a wide enough audience. The MLS alone, in my opinion, leaves you short of what you could have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, but it's not everything. And then with buyers around here, the other thing that we bring that I think is really important, we've been doing this a long time. Danny and I have been here a long time. We know a lot of people. And so being able to call another agent when I'm representing a buyer and say, hey, George, this is Brian Bernasconi, or just like last night, hey, Mark, it's Dan Rubnitz, and have that person say, oh, hey, Dan, how you doing? To be a human being, to be a person in this market when you're representing buyers, when there's multiple offers and they don't know you from Adam, it makes a world of difference to be able to call them up and know that you're going to get a phone call back. This just happened, 10 offers. We were not the highest one. And I called and I said, and she was not going to touch, she said, don't call me, I don't want to talk to anybody. And I called her up and I said, hey, listen, I know you said you're not going to talk to anybody, but if you could please just give me a call back, we would really love to know what's going on. And because of the relationships that we've built over those years, we get the call back. And for buyers, I think that is the edge that not everybody can offer, especially new agents. No disrespect to new agents, but we've been here a long time. And then lastly, we just have the experience. We've seen it all go every which way.
Mm-hmm.
Go really, really well. We've seen it go badly. We've seen things, that you just can't even imagine. And so that experience for buyers and sellers helps them to be able to predict where the pitfalls are going to be, where some of the bumps in the road are going to be. And we can predict, we can kind of play downboard just a little bit so that they know what's coming up and we don't have surprises. Yeah, exactly. Oh, is my time up?
One other item that we do have to is we are a partnership and we say we're a team, but unlike large teams and everything like that, you will always be dealing with the two of us.
Yes.
So we still have the personal touch in there. You're not going to be pawned off to a buyer's agent or a seller's agent or a escrow management agent. There's always, we're going to be in there. And so if you have a question, you either text us, call us, or pick up the phone, or have us stop by, whatever you want, and we will be there to go over any issue, concern, or thoughts you have about something.
There's two of us. We can cover a lot of ground, and we both know a lot, and we always know what's happening with all of our transactions. We never hand anybody off.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. There's three phrases we use on the Liftoff agent side that sounds like what you guys are doing. It's standard operating procedures, key performance indicators, and income producing activities that state that these are the things that are working, just like for the sale of your home. I love that. Be a team. That's great. Be an expert. Have that ground. I mean, viewers and listeners are going to take a lot of great information from that. So the last thing we have for you is opening the floor. So the floor is yours. We're not going to put a time limit on it. We don't have an hour here, but is there anything you want our viewers and listeners to know? We'll put all of your links down below so they can connect with you online, of course, but is there anything that you're working on, expanding the team? The floor is yours. Take it away.
Go ahead.
I think we've already said so much. We've already talked a lot. I don't think there's anything else that we could possibly add. The only thing I want to add is, I got two things I want to add. Dan, what do we always say at the end of our videos? Who are you going to contact when you want to talk to Brian and Dan?
www.briananddan.com.
Exactly. And then what's the last thing? I think that's all we got. Can we wrap on that?
And there you have it. Mic drop. Brian and Dan, thanks for being on Real Estate Revstech. We really do appreciate you being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was great.
Yeah,
great to meet you both.
Likewise. Dan Gandy, thanks for co-hosting as always.
You're welcome. I just followed you guys on Instagram.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yep.
And thanks to all the reviewers and listeners, as it is our intention for you to take something from an episode to apply to your business, have more massive success. We will. See you on the next one.
You made it to the end. Well, thank you so much for watching Real Estate vs. Technology. We hope you found value, especially something you can apply to your real estate business. If you could do us a favor, we would appreciate it. A thumbs up. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll be notified for new episodes coming out. And comment below, what the heck did you learn? If you want to join our Facebook group page, there's a link right here. And if you want to be featured on Real Estate vs. Technology, send us a DM on our Instagram page. We'll see if we get you on the show. So, take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.